Feels good to be back. I hate I missed the last one, but I'm back again. Jensen, J Star 1906 on Instagram. Feels good to be back with everybody. Here for another great show.
All right, all right.
Right.
Welcome everybody to the Planet Podcast. That was our light skinned man over there. Okay, World. He is back with us. He's a regular member, but he's been gone a little bit here, so he's getting back into rotation, and we'd love to have you. So welcome back, Jensen. I am your host, Tiffany Stevens, aka Black Mamba 81. You guys already know my resume involved with almost every planet. I'm the moderator for the Planet Podcast, and we are here for part 2 of our catch up podcast. So, Kyle,
Yep.
right.
Hey, what is up, everybody? Kyle here, aka the Fall of Marvel. You guys have interacted with me, I'm sure. I'm a mod in the group, and I'm always kind of just in and out, poking and just seeing if everybody's being honest in the group as much as possible. But we here, we trying to chop it up, and we're bringing this stuff to you guys. So, what it do? Let's go.
I like it. All right, I'm waiting on Terrence. I like his intro. Let's go. All
All
right.
right.
Here.
Hey, Rangers, Riders, and Magical Girls. It's Toku Terry once again. As you know, I am one of the mods of Ebjon. I am the admin and only writer for Toku Time, and I am still working on that first episode. Which, did you know writing scripts is hard? Yeah, it turns out writing a script is a lot harder than writing a normal story. Yeah.
Right, because don't you do like the actions and
Yeah. And there's so
this
many.
person walks to the left and
Yeah, and there's so
all that
many
stuff.
and there are so many good jokes I want to use, but I have to keep the video below 20 minutes. So many good jokes just lost to the ether.
Oh, just so you know, Jensen, last time we was all we're still blown away by Toku Terry's intro. I feel like our intros aren't as cool.
No, it's not.
My job, exactly. So we're trying to figure out. We're all trying to come up with some cool catchphrase intros like Toku Terry. His shit is tight, and we're feeling quite plain every time.
See, now you make me blush.
I'm just saying, we gotta figure that shit out.
I understand, but now you make me blush. Luckily, my skin's too dark for anybody to notice.
Darkness. I'm just playing.
I might have to do something maybe I'll have Fallen Marvel have Megatron introduce me next time or something. I have to find something cool because your shit is real cool and mine's just not.
Right.
I gotta work on that. So that's what happened too. So just an FYI that we're not on his level. So all right. So with that, we got, obviously part 2 of our podcast. Like I said, we've all been away for a little bit. So a lot has happened and we're trying to catch up on as much as we can. So this is part 2. And again, we have a lot to talk about tonight. So we're going to talk about the current Power Ranger comics. So possible spoilers coming up. So if you're somebody who reads and follows those, just know that segment is more than likely going to contain spoilers. So just want to get out there,
all of the
cussing us out. Yeah, we don't want y'all cussing us out. Saying how dare we? We warned you ahead of time. That's what my flashing lights are. We're going to talk about Chadwick Boseman. We're going to talk about the future of comic movies, and honestly, I think kind of movies in general, and kind of where we're headed. What COVID has kind of made all these studios have to do, and the theaters, and kind of what that may mean for us as consumers. And then we're going to talk about LeBron James and the LA Lakers winning the NBA championship. So that is our show tonight, covering a little bit of everything. So with that, Toku Terry, you want to take it away and let's talk about Power Rangers.
All right. So the last time we were talking about Power Rangers on this show was, I think, the reveal of the Omega Rangers.
I think that sounds right.
Yeah, so much stuff has happened since then.
With the new Draken, how you pronounce it, Draken. If you remember, Draken is the Green Ranger. So, in this arc that just started, it's the new Lord Draken, which now Draken is trapped outside of our time. Well, the main timeline per se, or something strange. So now even with him gone, his soldiers, the Ranger soldiers, and everybody's still under him, still thinking they still following his ruling, though he's not there no more. So now that he's gone, they looking for they started a new Draken, which is now Kimberly, which is Kimberly from that same timeline who came to the main timeline, and they crowned her the new Draken. So now that she's Draken, she's changing up some things. Even when she went to free, her and some of the original Rangers went to free people, they thought it was a joke. They like, no, that Draken is still alive, and they still follow his rule. So she's still trying to change everything and whatnot. Now, spoiler here, get everybody heads up.
Oh no.
Okay, I did my hands.
Yeah. So she found an underground, this underground prison or whatever, and there's somebody in this real metal suit just like tied up. Breaks them out or it out, and they go back to where the other Rangers are, like Zach and all them. Some of them are still alive. So they open it up, just to break it down real quick. They open it up, and it's Jason, the original Red Ranger, still alive. Everybody thought he was dead, but he's still alive. And so he's going off trying to fight everybody, thinking it's a trap, and he's saying, "Lock me back up." So pretty much Draken.
Oh, so he went crazy?
Yeah, he went crazy for a little bit. They had to calm him down.
I'm back. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, Justin.
All right. Hey, take over, Terrence. I'm talking about when Jason got free. So now you
can
pick up. You can pick up now.
I'm going to take over, but let me back up a little bit because I'm sure Jensen, I'm sure Jensen told you guys the facts, but he didn't have the hype behind it. So after Draken disappeared for forever because they shoved him into a dying universe, which honestly is one of the best ways to get rid of an enemy ever. Just like, here, you want to rule the universe? Here, you can keep this one for the next 12 seconds. But anyway, so Kim has become the new ruler of the Coinless universe, which is the universe where Draken took over the world because Draken has anger issues. And everyone's like, oh man, there's this secret prisoner that even Draken was afraid of that he locked away for forever because he thought he was too dangerous. And he's also and if he's ever released, Draken's secret final plan will be enacted. And everybody's who's the secret prisoner? And then they unleash him, and then he beats everyone up, and they take off the helmet, and it's like, oh my god, it's Jason. And Kim's like, wait, Jason, I thought you died. And Jason's like, nah. See, me and Grim Reaper got a deal. I kill other people, and he realizes I'm Jason Lee Scott, and he can't, and not even he can see me in the hands. Yeah, it turns out when Draken defeated Jason, remember when Jason's powers were weakened and he was trying to get the white light powers in that universe, and Draken jumped him. He's like, oh, hey, your powers are divided, and you're trying to get a new power? I have a knife. Because, let's be honest here, if Draken's good at one thing, it's beating up people when he knows their powers aren't at full level.
He's a good opportunist.
Yeah. I'm not saying that he couldn't beat Jason if Jason was at full power. I'm just saying they already had that fight and Jason won. And Draken made sure the second time he was like, I'm just going to wait till all the Rangers' powers are weakened. Okay, now I'm going to jump Jason. And
I just want to time out. I'm sorry. I got to say
go ahead.
The Green Ranger did not beat the Power Rangers. He did not beat everybody thinks he beat them when he jumped in the Megazord and all that stuff. He didn't. They held back. They want to see who this was. I just want to throw that
look, dude, you and I know that.
But we're putting it out there now some so more.
Yes. Okay. Just so everyone remembers, remember, all throughout Green with Evil, they're like, guys, we don't want to hurt this person. We want to hold back. And remember, they were holding back even before they found out it was Tommy.
Right.
Until the final battle where Jason's like, you know what? All right. Zorn says I had to go all out to win. I'm going to go out to win. And he won.
And that even comment in the comics where Tommy's like, you got lucky. And Jake said, nah. So We just
Tom-
want to put that out there.
Yeah. Tommy's like, hey, Tom. Look, Tommy's. Here's the thing. Even Tommy's own subconscious be saying Jason beat him. Like he was having these hallucinations of Rita, and then Rita was like, hey, dude, you fought 12 putties and lost. And Tommy's like, yeah, it was 12-1. And his hallucination was like, Jason would have won.
Ooh, don't you hate to see it?
Oof.
So about that fail safe that
Right. So about the failsafe. So they unleash this prisoner who turns out to be the coinless universe Jason, which is, the older alternate version of our Jason.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out that releasing him sends a signal into space to an alien named Eclipta, who is an alternate female version of Ecliptor from In Space. And two, yeah. Before you ask, she's hot, but in a weird alien way that I don't feel comfortable with. I knew one.
Isn't that usually the case?
Is this conversation about to get weird? Because
No.
I could step away if y'all want to have,
No, we're glossing over it.
man moments. Okay.
No. We're glossing over it. So Eclipta shows up, and it turns out the prisoner is Jason, and Jason reveals the story of how Draken captured him. He's like, oh well, he jumped me when I was getting the White Ranger powers, captured me. I broke out because I'm Jason Lee Scott. Did you really think he could hold me for very long? So Draken put me in this weird gray Ranger armor that shakes my bones with every punch I throw, and I broke out again. And Draken's like, okay, you know what, dude? That's twice. If you break it again, I'm killing Kimberly. And Jason's like, all right, I'm going back in the cage. This isn't over. Unfortunately, it is over because Draken ended up dead before they could have that rematch.
And there we are.
But Jason's back. He's freaking out because he does not like the Ranger Sentries, which are evil Rangers with the power of the power coins put through a diffuser, so everyone gets a little bit of Ranger power. They're weaker than full Rangers, but they're still much stronger than humans. But Jason hates those things. And for good reason, because Draken tortured him by showing him what all the Red Ranger Sentries were doing using his powers, which is a justifiable reason to hate somebody. Yeah. Other than that, Jason's pretty chill about the fact that he was tortured for 10 years. He has one moment where he struggles to remember his name, and then he's like, okay, well, that's it. So what are we doing? And I'm like, dude, aren't you supposed to have PTSD or something? No, you're fine.
Okay. It'll probably come out later.
He said, It'll
probably come out later.
I done beat the Green Ranger twice, man. I ain't got no PTSD.
No, he was like, I'm Jason Lee Scott. If you want PTSD, look at Rocky. But yeah, so Jason's back. He broke out, and in the middle of the freaking war zone, he stole his power coin back, which depowered all the Red Ranger Sentries, but he has his coin back, and he has his powers back, and he's the Red Ranger again. And we don't know what's about to happen next, but here's the really interesting part. The comic isn't portraying him or Kim in the wrong. It's portraying it as they both have solid points. It's a very morally gray area, because Kim's like, hey, no, I understand the Ranger Sentries are the result of a bad thing, but we're in the middle of a war against Eclipta. We need as many bodies as we can get. And Jason's like, no, these things were created by evil. We need to get our powers back. The four of us, the four remaining Rangers, using our powers properly, are much stronger than an army of Ranger Sentries. And she's like, that's just your trauma talking. He's like, no, that's my leadership talking. And the comic portrays them both in the right, which I find incredibly interesting. I love when comics do that. Look, I hate when heroes argue, but I love when heroes argue and they're both right. Because right now, Kid and Jason both have solid points.
So how do you know what to do? How do you know which way to take a group if you're both right?
Yeah, that's exactly the problem.
That's a conundrum. That's an interesting conundrum.
It is an interesting plot line. Jason,
Kim has solid points about them being in the middle of a war, and sometimes and sometimes when you're in a war, you have to do things that you find distasteful, but is better than dying. But Jason's also right in the fact that they're heroes and they should be above this, and they shouldn't have to compromise their morals for anything.
Makes sense. Kind of.
It's messed up because not only do I like both of these characters, I like both of these characters together. And now that they're arguing, it feels like when you're in the middle of an argument between two of your favorite friends who are dating, and you don't want to take sides.
Oh, I've been there. I know.
I mean, you don't. I mean,
no, listen, you gotta take sides. It's just you can't take sides if you're the one who hooked up the friends. That's when you got about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Like if I hooked you up with a friend of mine and y'all started arguing, I gotta separate myself. But if I've known you longer than I know your girl, but I like y'all, but you my dog first, like I'm going to probably more likely agree with you, but I'm gonna act like I'm asleep because I don't really like
right. It was like, look, I ain't in this.
Oh, so that's what's going on in the Coinless universe. In the main universe, Draken's back, and some big evil super monster is about to show up, and of course, Zed has powered up all of his people. Finster, a clone of Rita, Goldar, Squat, and Babu with Dark Ranger powers, which are the powers of evil versions of the Rangers, and they're kicking the main Rangers team's teeth in, which makes sense because the main Ranger team has Rocky in it.
You don't like Rocky.
Look, I really don't like Rocky, and it's no fault of the actor, it's the fault of the character. They wrote this character was always taking an L. I can't think of one time Rocky won a fight on his own. And you were a Power Ranger.
Honestly, I can't remember a specific feat from Rocky at all. Like it's weird because it's just like, okay, he came in with Adam and Aisha, who both had right, and they both came in with like such interesting, like, you know, just something about their character, and Rocky was just there. Yeah, and it just never changed.
No, the problem is Rocky went from just there to his only character trait being his inferiority complex to Jason and Tommy. And I'm like, you know what? If that's your character development, maybe you shouldn't develop no more. Maybe you should just stop talking.
I mean, I suppose so, especially since like even to this day, this is like one of the reasons why like I didn't like Turbo Power Rangers movie, because like aside from it just not being good, especially compared to the first one, but it's just the fact that it's like, dude, you've been a Power Ranger for how long? And it's just like, and dude, he literally flies out of the ring from doing like one rotation too many of a tornado kick and like breaks his back. I'm like,
he'd been a Power Ranger for 3 years at that point. He'd been a Power Ranger for 3 years. Trace Anos.
They legit like took him out in the dumbest way possible, and on top of it, they replaced him with a child. And I'm like, he was like, you know what?
No. Here's the disrespect. You know how I just mentioned Rocky has an inferiority complex to Jason? Yeah. Guess who replaced him in the kickboxing tournament when he broke his back?
Yeah, Jason. Right, Jason did replace him.
Literal insult to injury.
Laying up in the hospital bed because I'm just so confused. I'm like, dude, like you've been jumping. How? It's like, dude, y'all jumped in Zords like 100 feet in the air, and it's like, that damn.
Like, how are you so unprepared? Like, how is this a thing? Like, this shit should be.
You are
you should be avoiding injury at this point, like all the time.
Rocky,
So-
you are
I
supposed.
mean, it's honestly like Tommy, like literally messing up like his triple like tornado kick or something, like just out of the blue. It's like, dude,
hold on.
he trained to do this perfectly every time. This doesn't make any sense.
Like, here's the thing: Rocky is supposedly a second Dan black belt. I mean, that's not as good as Jason and Tommy over there being fourth Dan black belts at the age of 15.
I mean, right,
which
but
makes
it's
no
still up
sense.
there. It's still up there though.
But you are a second Dan black belt. How do you break your back on a normal move like that? I suck, and I wouldn't break my back on that move.
That sounds painful as shit, though. Y'all just laughing at him. You know what I'm saying? That sounds painful.
You watch, look, trust me, you watch that scene on yourself, you're gonna laugh. I'm sorry. Like, it's just,
You can't help it. It's just hilarious.
It's just
And
because the editing is so bad. Like, that's because again, I edit. You know that I edit, so it's like when you watch like a TV show or a movie or whatever, you notice little things like that. So it was just like such a horrible rough cut to like him landing the kick and then flying out of the ring, and it's just like it's hilarious. It's comedy. It's comedy gold. I'm telling you.
Again, we just want to apologize to Steve Cardenas if he's watching our show. We love you, Steve. We just hate Rocky.
We do. It's no fault of your own, sir. But
speak for yourself.
Hey, you are chef kiss, Steve. You're.
Sorry.
I mean, like, just look at the comics. Rocky in the comics. Yeah, Rocky's in the comics, and he's still catching L's. Like, he got hit by the same move twice, got taken down by the same move twice in the comics, after he just said he wasn't going to get hit by the same move again. He managed to beat Dane by accidentally jetting into Dane with a headbutt that knocked him out, too. Oh, my God. They should just give the Morpher back. Like, I know Jason's an Omega Ranger now, but let's just give the Morpher back to Jason and be like, you know what, man, here. I understand you're like a new ninja, secret agent, intergalactic megastar, Mega Ranger now, but we need you back here.
Well, that sounds.
that's 16 of my. That's
so. What's the next? You said there's another comic, right? So it's the
three.
comic.
Yeah, there's
like three.
this is we're on issue 2. The third issue comes out on the 28th, I believe. It comes out the final Tuesday of this not final Wednesday of this month.
What you talking about?
Why is it only 3 issues?
What you talking about? You talking about not?
Well, it's a
miniseries. Or you talking about the issues? Because it's 3.
Sorry. The Lord Draken New Dawn, I think, is like 3 issues.
Yeah. Draken New Dawn is 3 issues, and then for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the main series comics, the final issue of that comes out, I want to say Wednesday, and then they're splitting it into 2 comics called Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers, which will follow the 2 teams. Mighty Morphin follows the Mighty Morphin team, and then Power Rangers will be following the Omega team, which I'm fine for, because the fact that it's being split into 2 issues means I get more Jason feats of Omega Jason.
Just like X-Men Blue. It's like X-Men. It's like
was that your evil laugh? Is that what that was?
Yes.
It's like X-Men Blue and Gold right now, but Power Rangers version. And then also, then also you got Go-Go.
Yeah, I think Go-Go ended though, if I recall. I think
Go-Go ended. No, Go-Go ended. It ended right when the 2 teams met back up. So it's only MMP. So it's only Mighty Morphin for right now, which will be split into 2 comics. And then there's also also this week, besides the final issue of MMPR, it's the graphic novel Future Imperfect, which stars everyone's favorite Time Force Rangers, Jen Scott's. Oh my God, I don't remember what's his last name. And they said it like 1 billion times. Like, they just kept saying his last name. How can I remember Jen's last name, but I can't remember Wes's?
I don't know.
It's weird.
It happens, man. Mind farts. It happens. It'd be nice to see.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And and I'm glad because West and Jen were factually speaking the best written romance and one of the best written plots in Power Rangers. And if any of you disagree, and if any of you disagree that Time Force was one of the best written seasons, I need you to do me a favor. Take the rose-colored sunglasses off, put them down right there, and go watch Time Force again. You'll see what I mean.
Hey,
Collins, that was his last name. Wes Collins. I didn't even Google it. It just hit my brain.
well, there you go.
But
There you
read Draken New Dawn, read Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and then read Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers once it separates, and definitely read Future Imperfect. And may the power protect you.
All right, that works.
Okay.
Oh, that might be my catchphrase. I don't know. I'm still thinking of catchphrase. Okay. Sorry, I zoned out.
Whichever works.
She's
Whichever
really
works.
trying to get this. She's really trying to get this intro down.
I'm find something, and then I have to figure out who's gonna say it for me.
I
I'm not gonna. Thank you. That's all I ask for is support. Thank you. Okay.
I
Thank you. See, he supports me.
Oh, we got you.
Late reaction. Then Jensen ain't
I
said
mean,
nothing.
yeah.
I thought
I
about
heard
it.
it. I was like, I'm not
There
gonna
you go.
support it. You're a grown woman. You can say it yourself.
They support. See, here's the thing.
You're a grown woman.
Here's the
Listen,
thing.
world, listen. I want everybody to witness the breakup of and Jensen's world on this podcast. It has just happened. Don't edit this out, Fallen Marvel. The world needs to know that we have officially broken up on this podcast, per Jensen's words 30 seconds ago.
Man,
Okay.
you
Hey,
got
I'm
less
gonna-
than 40 minutes.
That is how
Guys,
dare you.
45 minutes.
How
to
dare
fix it.
you? How dare you not support me? Like, how dare you, sir? How dare you? Okay. We go one.
Guys, if you're going to guys, all right, don't fight. And if guys don't fight, and if you are going to fight, at least give me time to sell tickets first.
The fight would be over too fast.
Ooh.
See?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Shots.
See, he ain't got nothing to say. What I'm talking about.
All right,
This was just look at the crowd, and then he would bring out some chicken wings because he knows that's my weakness, and then that would.
I'm like, yes, you got it. You got it.
My eyes are wandering again. Looks like it was last week from laughing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We are moving on.
Tag out.
We go
All
on to
right.
our next subject, which is we are going to be talking about movies, and we did not get a chance to address this before. Was the passing of Chadwick Boseman. Great actor, wonderful man, philanthropist. I think he directed a couple of things, like just overall amazing talent that the world is gonna miss. And did you guys want to talk about just I guess the impact that was Chadwick Boseman on what you know of him? You guys want to share anything at all?
I remember when it happened, I was at the bowling alley, and a friend of mine had texted me, and I was like, man, this ain't even real. And then shoot, I got on Facebook, and then that people was posting it. Then I googled it, and shoot, when TMZ said it was real, shoot, it was real. Then I was like wow, we just got him. And then I remember at one point everybody was like talking how he was losing weight, and I was like, I was like, yo, that's like, yo, he just losing weight for his role with the samurai movie coming up.
I thought it was too. Yep.
Oh yeah, he sure was.
Yep.
He sure was. Wow, man.
And then next thing you know, and then somebody said in the group when we had the thread of that, like, it may have somebody had an article had brought up about him Mike having some problems with cold like years ago, but he was like, everybody's looking for articles, he didn't remember. He was like, everybody's kind of just like, it just kind of like brushed over it, then nobody really paid too much mind. And but yeah, man, he was he gonna be missed. Yeah, I think his last movie he played in just hit Netflix. I don't remember what it's called, but he had like one more movie
Yeah.
that came out that he played in. So
Yeah, it was.
I find it interesting that he worked and did so much while fighting at the same time.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, like he, besides what you were talking, like when the picture started surfacing of him being skinny, like what you just talked about, Jensen. Honestly, outside of that, just from the movies he was in, the amount of energy that he had, like there was nothing that even made it seem like there was anything going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's just,
I think
it's
the
fun.
real thing is, yeah, the my one thing with it is I'm both impressed that he was able to work for so long and disgusted with our society that he felt he had to.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you seemed like he was a private person. Maybe he didn't want everybody to focus so much on his health while, you know what I'm saying? Maybe he just
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's really a
I
situation
understand.
where it's really a situation where I think that he had focused so much on just doing what he felt was just important more so than I guess just I mean it's like okay he knows he wants to keep doing this stuff but yet he's doing you know all this stuff in between with getting treatment and stuff. But I mean, all I can say is that he obviously had like a lot of respectable and loyal people in his corner because like they
I
kept
agree.
all of his private business, like just you know it. Nobody leaked anything or anything like that or
Right.
whatever. And he was able to be able to go out the way he wanted. Like he was very much respected. So it was you know it's ironic too because the day he passed and I think it was what August 20 what was it was August 20 something what was it
It was too far for after
uh,
Leah. It wasn't too far the day Leah died. It wasn't too far after
yeah it was
hers.
August 28th it was
Yeah, it was a
August
couple days
28th
after Leah died.
and it was so ironic because the day he died was also Jackie Robinson Day
Yep.
and it was Jack Kirby's birthday and
Yeah.
I just know that Jack Kirby, he was the co-creator of Black Panther. So, and it was just like, wow, of all
Gang.
days. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
The one positive thing I can say about it is as swan songs go, that's a pretty good swan song.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a situation where it's just like, you know what, sometimes like if like when you're really perceptive, like you just get like vibes from people and like he was just like one of those people that just really seemed like dude like he was more about leaving a legacy to follow more than anything else and he damn sure did
Yes.
just that in such a short time the
In
fact that like
such a short time. Like it's like he became a household name. Like at first it's like we kind of didn't know him and then he became a super household name and
right
it was
and it
gone.
was like I know for me like the first time I became a fan was like after he did Get On Up.
Right.
Like when he did the James Brown biopic. Like I didn't see the stuff he did before because I know he had like The Express and then he eventually did 42 and so on and so forth. Like obviously, he had that niche of doing like historical figures, right? So but it was just really awesome like with that and just seeing how much he put into the James Brown role and it was like dude, like this dude is killing it. Like, and it was just like, man, like I was a fan like since then, and it's just like, of course, then Black Panther came in the picture, and it was like, dude, it's a wrap. Like he's literally like my favorite black actor right now. So,
Black Panther, as we all know, was like a super movement that I'm not sure if, at least in our lifetime, I am not sure if that movement, as far as what the movie was for us, for everybody, but for Black people in general, I'm not sure if we will have another movie that was as big as what Black Panther was. Not that we've never had it. I mean, we've had movies like, you know, Harlem Nights and Coming to America and stuff like that. But it was
Mhm.
it was
I'd
huge
argue
for,
Malcolm
like,
X. I'd argue Malcolm X.
okay, Malcolm, but I mean, like, as far as comic book movies are concerned, like, it was
Yeah.
the mark that it made. I'm not sure if we'll have another movie that's like that for us. Maybe, you know, coming up, probably. But I mean, it's just what Black Panther was just huge. And
Mhm.
I don't, yeah, I don't want to get all misty eyed, but yeah. So
Oh yeah, most definitely.
definitely, you know, yeah, I don't want to get misty. I don't want to
Yeah,
get misty.
ain't none of us trying to get emotional
No.
right now because I mean, look, it's been a rough year for everybody. So it's just,
yes.
so I don't understand.
So, you know, with that, we're gonna segue over a little bit to talking about movies, comic movies, obviously, but honestly, movies in general. You know, as you guys all know, as the world knows, you know, we've had major theaters closed down because, you know, people aren't going to the movies in the way that we used to, which COVID's still out there, motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's the nice way I'm trying to say it. Like, I mean, it's out there, and it's what I mean. We've gone through, I think, at least most of the states that haven't been like huge hotspots. Like, we've kind of gone through our second round. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot more people. I mean, you know, conspiracy theorists and naysayers aside, you know, I think a lot more people realize
5G waves.
right, that
Oh,
COVID is not a joke. You know, that shit's real, that it's serious. You know, and it hit us hard, like, and it has taken out, you know, hundreds of thousands around the world. You know, and you know, I think a lot of people who may have been a little bit more skeptical, I mean, they're taking those precautions now, and you know, people just aren't scrambling to the movie theaters like we used to. It might be a while before we go back. And so you've had movies like Mulan and some other movies. I think Disney, Jamie Foxx's Disney Pixar movie Soul.
So yeah, that one
Soul
that
is
was
coming out. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think DC and Warner Brothers decided to release, or that may have been a false report. If they're just going to go ahead and release Wonder Woman straight to streaming. But I mean, a lot of movies are now coming direct to streaming apps like HBO and Prime and Hulu and all that other kind of stuff. So, I mean, do you guys think that this is kind of like our future? Do you think we're going back to the movie theaters? What do you guys think?
Personally, I think that right now it just should be a focus on trying to combat the pandemic first, because obviously things can't operate as normal until people can safely go where they want to spend money. Now, for me personally, I would much rather go to the theater because I love that theater experience. I want my tentpole movies, and it kind of sucks that I didn't really get that this year. I think the last movie I saw this year was Sonic the Hedgehog, which I did like, you know, but that was the last movie I saw in theaters. So, and it's like now, it's just one of those situations where it's like, hey, this is one of those things where we're gonna have to wait this out, because as much as we want to go and see these movies or whatever, these tentpole movies that usually bank all this money to, whereas you know, other people, they can make their, you know, art house films and stuff or whatever. Because let's be real, the tentpole movies fund those smaller independent films. Like, it's you know, that's just the way it is right now. So it's just like, you know, that's where I kind of like, you know, really trip at like some of the naysayers, you know, like Martin Scorsese saying that, like, you know, that they're not real cinema and all this other mess or whatever. So it's like, okay, if that's the case, then what do you guys got to say about Westerns back in the 50s and 60s and 70s? Because let's be real, we had Westerns up to that point, up into the 70s and 80s and 90s. We had, you know, just straight hardcore action movies, you know, your Stallones, your
Schwarzenegger,
just, you know, Seagal and Van Damme and so on and so forth.
Seagal.
That
action.
I'm just saying.
They were.
But
I
anyway,
guess they were.
but you know, but then you know, of course, getting into like the later '90s and the early 2000s. Now we got comic book movies. Now,
yeah.
the what differentiates comic book movies from other stuff is because there's so many different stories in the comic medium that can be adapted. It's not all just straight superheroes. Like superheroes obviously are the most popular, but there's all types of comic books out there. Horror comic books. There, you know, even Road to Perdition is based off of a graphic novel, and that was like critically acclaimed. I think when it came out, if you guys remember the Tom Hanks film, like that was a graphic novel.
Mm-hmm.
So you know,
Hell,
I
so
don't.
was Sin City.
Right. So I don't see comic book movies in general going anywhere. Even with the whole situation with the COVID as far as the theater thing, I just think it's a situation where it's like, you know, okay, everybody's gonna have to hold off until this pandemic can actually be controlled and they come up with some way to fight it and people can actually do stuff like normal again. Because
So
I highly doubt that a lot of these movies are going to just hit streaming just straight up. Now, the only thing I will say is that even though I know there's rumors for Wonder Woman 84, it may be slightly more of a chance that may happen because like Tenet didn't really do like exceptionally great when it came out because you know it didn't do bad, but I mean Christopher Nolan like big action extravaganza, you know, it didn't make the money they really originally wanted it to. So
but then that also begs the question, right? Because
Mhm,
we all know a lot of the money, like you mentioned,
mhm.
coming from how many people go to the movie theaters, right? It's the
Yeah.
ticket costs, you know, and
Oh yeah.
it's the concession stands and that, you know, so when you're allowing for a movie to come out on a streaming service for free,
Mhm.
you will not make that same money. You just won't.
No.
You just won't.
Mhm.
But like we all saw what happened with Mulan, okay?
Yeah.
Mulan got charged. Now I know Mulan's kind of different situation because of the direction that the film took, and a lot of people kind of just didn't like the story. And I've been getting conflicting reports. I haven't watched it yet, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just even it's just the amount that does anybody remember what they were charging? Was it comparable to
30.
It
I think it was like
was
30.
Was it 30?
I believe
it was
like 30.
$30. It was $30, and the thing is, obviously, if you pay that or whatever, like you obviously could stream the movie
Like
as
forever.
much as you basically forever, as long as you had the thing or whatever.
Okay.
But the caveat is that you know once the news came out that like you know by December you have access to it anyway. I mean, it's kind of like hey, but so it really just depended on the people that wanted to see it right then and there.
Right.
So
it's like with that money's got to be made up somehow. And like you guys said,
Mhm.
I know it dropped on Disney Plus, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
if you don't have Disney Plus, you weren't going to see that movie. You know what I'm saying?
You still could just through.
I mean, like I'm
means.
talking about like when it comes out. Like if you're somebody that goes to the movies, like if there's I want to see Wonder Woman 84. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I want to see
Right.
that. Like I am, Wonder Woman for me it would be like a day one me go see. Kind of.
Yeah, most
Mhm.
definitely.
Like so I would
Indeed.
pay exactly. So it's like but if you want to see a particular movie, unless you have that streaming service, you're gonna have to wait. And like when you
Right.
go to the movie theaters, you go to the movies. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
so it's like
Right.
how do and obviously you guys don't know this, but it's a question. It's like how do you think studios are gonna comp some of that money back if like say if a movie comes out on Prime? You ain't got Prime, you ain't gonna see it until it becomes like if you want to buy it, like to buy it to watch.
Right.
Until it comes out free for everybody, you ain't gonna see it. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody has every app, I guess is what I'm trying to say, or every streaming service. So
Right.
a revenue crunch in a way. So
Yeah.
do you think studios are gonna still be kicking out these multi-million-dollar movies, the amount of money that it costs to make these movies when they're probably more than likely not going to get anything close to that back, I'd say like for in the next year or two. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jensen, what do you think? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a tough situation, but what do you think?
Honestly, I think some of these companies and studios gonna come together and start bringing back the drive-in theaters.
Oh,
Because back here
Oh,
in Little Rock,
yeah.
back here in Little Rock, Arkansas, they opened up one, and then some cities never stopped doing them. They just
yeah.
kind of. I think something's gonna give where you'll start seeing them pop up. I think with for me, I don't have Amazon Prime, so I think if it's a movie that comes from Amazon Prime, that's like one of the bigger companies, it's like a comic book movie or whatever. I think the people with Prime still see for free, or whatever, because if they got active subscription, and then other people that doesn't have it, I think they probably might still charge somebody won't be $30. Like, all right, you want to see this, it'll be this. If you want to see it with your 4K or whatever, it'll be this.
Well, yeah.
I do think somebody is either Marvel or DC or shit, even the next Spawn movie. Somebody is going to just go straight to streaming with one of these comic book movies first, and depending on which one it is, because like I said, I say Spawn because that's the next one up. Not next one up. The other one that's major besides Marvel, DC. Jamie did officially sign to play Spawn, right?
He did.
No,
I think he dropped off. I think the movie.
Oh yeah, he did.
The thing is, the movie was still in limbo. I think he had initially signed on to do it, but I don't even think any
movements even happened.
Yeah, but he did officially sign though, right?
Yeah,
he did, but he did, but I think he dropped out of it. I remember reading somewhere he said he dropped out.
I haven't seen that. I didn't see that.
Okay,
but you know what? I
have to look it up.
I take that back. Though. It's gonna be the first one I think that's gonna come out streaming. It's gonna be next Mortal Kombat movie. I think that'll be the one that I can see. I think that'll be the one that
you don't think Blade? You don't think Blade would be it?
Man,
Blade? That's still 2 years off.
Yeah, they don't have a set date for Blade. That's the thing.
Okay.
But I think I feel like it's enough hype amongst nerd community because everybody that got casted fits that part.
Yeah.
They went, no disrespect to the past ones, they went actually to what nationality most of these characters would be. For these, outside of the American, like Jax on your Blade. I'm talking about Sub-Zero and all them. Okay. I think that'll be the first one, or maybe the Black Widow movie might be the first one. Somebody's gonna do it. I don't know who. They pushed the Batman back.
Yeah.
Black Adam got pushed back.
Yep.
I mean, Allen's been getting
everything got pushed back.
Everything, honestly, anything that's not finished right now, comic book wise, is pushed back. Like Wonder Woman 84 got pushed back, but honestly, I feel like DC and Patty Jenkins, they may make a decision a little bit. Same thing for Black Widow. Like Black Widow got pushed back to December too. But now it's we close to December here. We're only 2 months away, and it's like, are you going to push it back into January?
I don't know. I thought all the Marvel movies got pushed back to 2021.
Well, Black Widow was done.
It's supposed to be this year.
Yeah, it's done. That's what I was saying. The comic movies that are done, like Jensen said, they're gonna have to make a decision.
I think Disney, I feel, will do it. Okay, Mulan. It didn't do what they figured. I'll be real with you, Tiffany. If you seen Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, that was Mulan.
Yes.
How the style was and everything to me.
Okay.
But I feel Disney will be like, all right, Mulan didn't. All right, that's cool. But now we forget into our Marvel stuff, and I feel Black Widow. I mean, outside of. Because all the WandaVision, that's gonna be straight streaming anyway. So that's gonna be I think Widow's gonna be the first one to test that water because I feel like it has. I think it'll do decent. It's we ain't had a good spy movie type movie in a minute.
Do you think Black Widow is enough to draw people back though? Do you think her?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because
And just to add on, oh sorry, just really quick.
Yeah.
Just to add on to that, yeah, they pushed everything back to 2021. Like Black Widow is scheduled for May 7th, 2021.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
So
you gotta think every year since 2006, 7, 8, since the first Iron Man.
Too long.
New
age, too long ago.
The new age.
Since 08.
Okay, the newer age MCU, not the Blade and all that. But every year since then, we've had at least one comic book movie or two. At least one, 2, 3. So the hype, the hype is the real for this, for something of a comic like MCU, DC. I think the last one we had was what, Into the Spider-Verse?
In the movie theaters?
No.
Yeah, it was Into the Spider-Verse was I think Into the Spider-Verse was the last major one we had, then, wasn't it? I know it's animated, but I'm just saying in general.
Well, no, Aquaman came on.
Aquaman, yep. I was going to say Aquaman was the last major.
Because we had Aquaman, and then Shazam came out later, then Captain Marvel, then Endgame, I think.
No, some came out after Endgame.
Spider-Man came out after.
Yeah,
Endgame.
into the what you talking about? The actual Tom Holland?
Far from home. Far from home was after Endgame.
It was
Far from home. Yeah.
Yes,
so,
Far from home.
We're not going to talk about it, Marvel. Okay, I'm just saying.
Which is also scheduled to come out like around Christmas time next year.
Mm-hmm. So they're gonna take a chance because somebody's gonna do it, and they're gonna be like, "All right, Black Widow, we broke even. We broke a little bit over even, so we made a little bit money back." Honestly, even if they don't do Widow, and then things happen, well, I can see them doing Widow, and they're like, "Okay, we got something going on. Let's go on and do Shang-Chi." I know it's a risk taker because how Black Panther was to us over here, I think Shang-Chi is gonna be to how it's gonna be for them over there. Shang-Chi is, I mean, that's gonna they're finna jump into a character that's for them, for the over there, in China. And so they like, okay, Black Widow did even, so let's just go on and see if we get something like really major, because I don't really see nothing else that they could really use. Everything else is gonna be streaming, like WandaVision, Winter Soldier, and Falcon. Everything else is gonna be coming straight to streaming. Well, strictly streaming services.
Yep. I know one of the things that, like, I don't know whether it's just because like it keeps flying under the radar, but I know one of the other shows that's coming on Hulu, and I think I think at the end of this week is Hailstorm on Hulu, which is
to my Damien Hailstorm.
Yeah, because there's a Hulu series that's actually be on there at the end of this week on the 16th, I believe. Okay. So they got that, and what's going to be cool, and just in general, is that like obviously all of the Marvel shows going forward are going to be like some part of the MCU somewhere, like even Hailstorm, like it's basically just like its own little small part, but obviously it's going to be like the supernatural section of it or whatever. So
right,
it'll be interesting to see how that goes, and plus we got the Nick Fury series coming, the Miss Marvel series coming. It's a lot of stuff to look forward to, and as far as like the movie theaters things or whatever, it's just like, again, man, it's nothing like going to the movie theater for that awesome popcorn flick, and like and Marvel has provided us with plethora of them like for the past decade, which has been really interesting. So there's still a future for it. Whether what DC has planned or whatever, like who knows? I mean, part of me feels like I'm sure they probably wish they would have released Wonder Woman 84 like earlier than they
before that first pushback.
Right, because it was supposed to come out last year.
Yeah, but they were battling. They pushed it back because what came out last year that was major? That wasn't Infinity War, right?
Endgame. It was Endgame.
So I can kind of see from a marketing standpoint, nobody wants to take on Endgame. You know what I'm saying? So I understood, and you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody was, you know what I'm saying? Like, even as me as somebody who doesn't watch a lot of Marvel movies, like I kind of watch the main Marvel to get to Endgame, but I'm
Right.
and Vincent knows I'm kind of about the Marvel thing, but I recognize the fact that Endgame was huge, and no comic book movie wanted to take on Endgame. So I honestly think it was a good move. It just so happened that Wonder Woman, COVID, you know what I'm saying? Like no, you know, COVID just happened to happen. Nobody wanted to take on Endgame, so I think it was smart. But I understand what you're saying. Like I know they were probably thinking like, shit, maybe we should have just did like December, or maybe they should have moved it to January. You know, like early 2020 versus waiting until April.
Yeah, because honestly, like that, it's starting to become like a good time of year for those type of movies. Because if you notice in like the last few years, like when people start hitting that November, December time slots, even January, like those have been like really good times for those movies because
you know,
like,
it's holidays, families, people off, they traveling, they go to the movies. But I know around that time of year has kind of been like the Star Wars time because the Star Wars kind of
they do Skywalker did come out Christmas time.
Yep. So I mean, so you know, so Wonder Woman, DC was probably like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta have a time of year, you know what I'm saying? But I do feel like they might be kicking themselves like shit. We should have just released it and just
did because they was riding off the Joker's success like for the rest of that year, like
exactly. because I mean, like DC has their own shows too. I mean, you still got the Flash that's going on. Black Lightning got renewed for another season. They're coming out with the Green Lantern show. I don't remember if it's coming out animated or not.
But
I
that
don't
ain't
remember
like
reading
2023 though, ain't it?
But still, I mean, it's just in the
It'll
works.
Be a while.
You know?
It'll be a while.
Like you guys said, I mean, Black Adam, Shazam 2 is coming. I'm sure another Aquaman movie's in the works. Patty Jenkins then said she's making one more Wonder Woman film, so she's going to have a trilogy under her belt. And
then you still got New Guys. That's right.
Yeah, still got whatever is going on with that. Right, we haven't heard of people that since.
No pre-production stuff was started with that. Like we don't know.
What you know what I'm saying. So and then obviously Henry Cavill, that announcement with Henry Cavill and him like wanting to super recommit to Superman and WB like so. But we don't know yet. We know that he's going to have appearances in other movies, like maybe Shazam, maybe the Wonder Woman 3 movie, whatever that plot is. But we're all kind of keeping our fingers crossed that he gets another Man of Steel. Like that's
I don't see why they don't automatically I don't see why they just bring him back. He did great. That's the best Superman to me.
Because Batman. That's why.
Was that your Dark Knight voice?
Pretty much.
And then also Tiffany, with speaking of Black Adam, I think when they announced other characters going to be in there, I think seeing how Doctor Strange did, I think they're gonna do it anyway. I think they're gonna do a Dr. Fate movie.
Oh, I would love it
because they saw how it's copycat stuff in sports and everything. It's always you see what's successful, and Strange did middle of the pack MCU. But
it did good for what it was. Like I think like it did respectable numbers.
Yeah, and so they'll see like, all right, Dr. Fate here, and Hawkman and Atom Smasher. I think they really was banking on Black Adam. I mean, it's The Rock. I mean, I know people could say what they want about his acting, and he's always his main character, but this role was literally made from like how he is till even his skin tone is very similar to how Black Adam is in the comics, and so
that's Dwayne's movie for real.
Yeah, that was his movie.
We've been trying to make that movie as long as we've been wanting a movie. So I mean,
and
the man's got his own production company. So
it's gonna get done. It's like however it was like okay, like I guess it was just like maybe he was just waiting on Warner Brothers to see what they want to do with something or whatever. Because and even now it's just like even now it's go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, like, I know he's not is he a producer of the movie? He's not the director though, right?
No, he's executive producer. He was
Okay,
executive
so-
producer on Shazam.
So we don't have a director yet for Black Adam. Like that hasn't been.
I don't think so.
so.
But it's in
Okay.
pre-production, obviously. But I don't think they have a director yet.
Okay.
And did y'all see how the issue was why Hawkgirl not gonna be in the movie?
Say that again.
They're not putting Hawkgirl in the movie with Hawkman.
Oh yeah, I read that. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
it, from what I read, it was a bunch of complicated. Pretty much, if it was a relationship, it would be complicated. Just
I could kind of see that, like it'll wind up being like its own like arc or something, and then it would be like really weird. So like I think it's probably they just want to focus on like, you know, obviously like the building blocks of this character, and just along the way he runs into Hawkman and Ancient whatever or whatever they would be. So, and you know that was another big thing too with what was
I don't
my man who got signed to play
Alden Hodge. Is it Alden Hodge?
Yes. I
think that's his name, whatever. And it's like I will have to say that like I'm very, very glad that they are going this route because of the fact and it's funny because I had a run-in with a certain individual that was upset. Whatever. It's like, dude, like I don't know, folks just like really forget that his original or one of many backstories, but he was an ancient Egyptian prince.
Oh, I know exactly. I remember that. I know
people forget that.
Listen,
that's Hawkman, and let's be fair. Hawkman has a billion backstories, but my important question is, will they have since this is supposed to be taking ancient Karak in Egypt and you know that area right there? Will they have someone's boy, not mine, but someone's boy, Naboo of Egypt? Again, he's not my boy. He's someone's boy, though.
That would be interesting. It would be.
We don't know yet.
I think they.
For those of you who aren't in the comics, Naboo of Egypt is Dr. Fate.
Yeah,
we were talking about him.
But we had just mentioned him earlier.
We were talking about him.
I could see them planting seeds for him in this movie somewhere. I can
and
see.
Jensen, that might go back to your thing about when you were talking about how, you know, Dr. Fate may be entering that maybe this is how they introduce him is through the. It could be a good segue.
Now you're right. Now, Tiffany, will it take place? Will the whole movie take place just in the past, or will they do some? Would it come to the present?
For who?
Black Adam. My bad. Would everything completely be in the past?
It's hard to answer that question because his trailer wasn't really a trailer; like it was a pre-trailer, whatever. And I mean, it's definitely his origin story, so it might focus on his past and kind of how he came to be Black Adam. And if it's like sometime with DC fashion, like in some of the movies, like even with Wonder Woman, you start a part of the movie like in the present, but then it talks about the whole movie's based in the past, and then you get
it's a whole movie
a little bit, so it may have a mix, but we don't know yet. So it may have a mix. It may just be. They could do that foreshadowing thing too that a lot of comic movies do. Like you get all origin, in the past, but then you get like a little glimpse of something that happens in the future that may involve him and other people. So I don't. Right. So
it'll be interesting to see what they do because I know that I mean, obviously, you still got the Flash on the way or whatever, and they're supposed to be doing Flashpoint something with it.
Listen,
or whatever.
We gonna talk about Ezra?
No.
You
cannot bring us around. No. I'm just saying. As far as if they intend on going back to universe building, that's all. Like, nothing more.
Time follow Marvel.
So I know we still got that coming. So like as far as that with them kind of sort of, I don't know if they're trying to get to the point where they can comfortably do universe building again. Because I know up to this point they've been doing standalones, which so far have been mostly successful, but not all
Mhm.
the way, because obviously you had Joker, which was a big success, and then Birds of Prey,
Yes.
which not so much.
But then
So
remember, Joker's not connected.
I
it's
wish it
not.
was. Nah,
It's
it's
not,
not.
but neither is
You.
the Batman. So it's like the
Huh?
Batman
No, the
isn't either.
Batman is.
So
Oh,
they claim
is it?
they not unless they decide to change their mind, because technically, like, the Batman wasn't supposed to connect to anything either.
It's supposed to be the Batman is supposed to be Earth 2 with a younger Bruce.
Right. It's still gonna
Or
be
something.
connected.
So
It's still gonna be connected some way, but the Joker was just
The Joker was out
yeah,
there.
that was just like just straight, just on its own, whatever.
Yeah.
Like it was,
Yeah.
you know, whatever. But I think like it'd be interesting to see, because again, with more news coming out, obviously on the Marvel side, since we last talked about the third Spider-Man film, they confirmed that Doctor Strange is going to be in the film.
Yeah.
And Benedict Cumberbatch will be in there. So obviously it really seems like there's going to be a lot of multiverse stuff going on, because, you know, we talked about the Jamie Foxx thing, and now I heard some rumor, and I kind of hope it ain't true, because now they really seem like they're trying to do too much, that they're supposedly talking to Kirsten Dunst and Dane DeHaan to potentially reprise their roles in some
Mary Jane?
fashion. Yeah, and Dane DeHaan, Norman Osborn. I mean, Harry Osborn.
Wait, are we talking my boy Harry Osborn?
Like no, like amazing Spider-Man 2 Harry Osborn.
Wait, what? Say that again.
Amazing Spider-Man 2 Harry Osborn.
Oh, the weird one with Electro, the weird.
Yeah.
I ain't like the one who seemed like he was high on coke all the time.
The one with the goop teeth.
I know, right? That's why y'all laughing. He seemed like he was high all the time. I was like, wait a minute, Harry.
They shoehorned Green Goblin in there so hard, like it was so embarrassing.
They did, but that's not my question. They did, but that's not my question. My question is, did anyone else notice the goop teeth?
Unfortunately,
no. What?
It's like he had like you know, he had like the Tim Burton penguin thing going on with his mouth. You know, which is just
the whole time. That's what happens when you're on crack. I ain't like him. I was like,
that's what I'm saying. It's like I'm hoping it's not true, because it's like, look, if y'all trying to do the Spider-Verse or multiverse thing or whatever, it's like, look, don't start putting in the things that people didn't like as much from those films. It's just like y'all doing too much now.
But then
so
with Kirsten Dunst, right? So Spider-Man 3, when you know he was trying to be like got affected by Venom, and he did that whole dance thing, and you know that thing. Okay,
which if you ask me, that actually completely makes sense, because the way they describe Venom in the movie is highly reminiscent to having a manic episode. So it's not the movie. So for the audience, it's supposed to look weird and awkward, because we're not supposed to see him at school.
Yeah, no, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
What I was saying is that right, they kind of reconciled a little bit, and I think they ended as friends. We don't believe that they became romantic, right? At the end of
it ended weird. It ended very weird.
Yeah, because like, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, if you bring her back, is she like? Are we talking like the Mary Jane that's married to Peter type Kirsten Dunst?
We don't know. It's just like
it's just a rumor. It's just a rumor right now.
It is just a rumor as of now.
Okay.
What I'm looking at,
we were talking about all this multiverse stuff, and I'm like, oh man,
like, it's just like, look, I'm looking at it this way because I'm looking at it this way because there's a lot of building blocks to them leading up to like a big multi-dimensional event. Because first we got Doctor Strange, which is Multiverse of Madness, and we know that WandaVision is going to play into that, which is going to be a trip. I already know, but you have that, and then he's going to be involved in Spider-Man 3 in some way or fashion, which means that it's probably going to carry over. And we also have the film The Eternals coming out, which kind of ties in to like characters like the Beyonder and stuff like that. And for those that know the comic book lore, that kind of gave birth to Contest of Champions and Secret Wars, which was like this huge multiverse event. So it's just like they're setting up building blocks to make this work some kind of way, and I'm sure they're going to use that to kind of help bring in Fantastic Four and the Mutant Gene, X-Men and whatnot. So it's a lot. It's a lot that they have going on right now, and I'm sure that they're trying their best to carefully craft how they do this. So it's like
I just want to say that the DC crossover event on TV was well done.
It was.
It was like it had some problems, but it was very entertaining. It was very entertaining.
It was well. So I think it goes back to the point of where you and Kyle, you and Jensen were both kind of talking about like DC and with the success of these individual movies. And obviously, again, we have. I really hope Wonder Woman. I might have to brave COVID with a mask and like my Wonder Woman and go to the movie theaters because I see it.
If they open,
I feel you. I feel you.
Go.
I have to look. Thank you, Jensen, for reminding me about drive-ins because now I'm about to check local and see if we have one. Because I can see it from the safety of my car and still, see it on the big screen. But that does go to the question of, are we at some point, because you got to think, and we had talked about this on a previous podcast, you got to think with the success of Wonder Woman, the success of Aquaman, Boo to the Flash, I understand the importance of the Flash and I get it in the realm of I get it. Okay. We're coming out with, I mean, it's going to be for a couple years, but they're coming out with the DC Lantern show. It makes you wonder. And then obviously Superman's going to play a little role here and there in all these other movies. It makes you wonder, are we going to have a Justice League United? Because we have Shazam now. You know what I mean? So
it's like I said,
Shazam eventually joined the league too. We got Cyborg. I mean,
is the guy playing? Is Raven going to come back as Cyborg?
Wait,
technically, I honestly don't know. Like that's still
security might not be.
That's still kind of like in limbo right now because he's caused like way too much ruckus like as of late. So I don't even know because I know part of the issue was because he started getting. I think they started like lessening his role in the Flash film.
He had ideas for his character that the director didn't adopt.
Right. And I mean, look.
He didn't like saying booyah.
The thing is that there's a lot of that's why I'm saying it's a lot of weirdness that's surrounding like this whole situation. That's why like I'm not looking forward to seeing the Snyder Cut when it comes on HBO Max.
I'm not looking forward to
it's like I'll see it.
Why did they
I will see it, but yeah.
So I mean,
look, I'm not looking forward to the Snyder
Cut. They would have went with the Manhunter. You wouldn't be having this conversation if they would have went with my man John. Okay, I'm just gonna throw that out there.
True.
Okay, that's true. But if I
have no argument with that.
Well, I was gonna say I'm not looking forward to the Snyder Cut because Zack Snyder is a very core Ayn Rand supporter, and that bleeds into his work. And when you have a philosophy that's all about selfishness and pulling yourself up by your bootstraps and doing everything for yourself, a philosophy that expressly hates the ideas of charity and morality and helping other people for no other reason than because you can, and you give someone who believes in that morale, in that philosophy, the DC universe, a thing all about hope and helping others for no other reason than you can, it doesn't work.
Well, I mean, we're about to find out. So we're about to find out.
We found out. That was the whole problem with Man of Steel.
The Snyder Cut is coming. Like, okay, I'm gonna say this again. I really don't want to get on another BVS thing because we have talked about it on something. But I'm gonna say this: I didn't have a problem with BVS. I did, except for Lex. The Lex casting was trash. But like the philosophy of the movie, some of the dialogue, wasn't that great. But I actually liked the comparison of Batman versus Superman and their own struggles with being heroes who get seen in different light.
I get it, but the comparison doesn't really work in that movie because in that movie, Superman isn't being this bright, inspiring bit of joy. He's just as dour and depressing as Batman.
Yeah,
The only reason
but we all know
that,
but we all know that they're going for a darker Superman this time around. We're not getting Christopher Reeve Superman.
Yeah, but see, here's my thing with it.
That's fine.
So we
We're not getting
Look. To try to not go off.
Again.
I'm going to try to wrap this up in a bow. Okay.
Okay.
The thing is that when it comes to a more darker or more realistic take or whatever, we had that in Man of Steel. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We had that with Man of Steel. We saw him trying to build up to, trying to understand the meaning of heroism and all that stuff or whatever. And we essentially got that in Man of Steel. Problem is they retreaded it again in BVS, but made it worse. The thing is that like now he's going through those same beats all over again, and it's like poorly written this time because if you really think about it, now granted, Bruce was a dick in that movie. We're not can't split hairs. Batman was a dick.
No. You don't have to specify in that movie.
But the thing is also Superman was kind of being a bit of a dick himself. And it was just like, dude, I don't like neither one of you in this movie. Like, what is going on? And it's like, again, it's like they try to go through those beats again, but they do it poorly. So like, that's why it's like, okay, when he comes back to life in Justice League, it's almost like a far cry how he was in BVS. Like he's now hopeful and all that or whatever. Now, granted, we had two different directors and different writing styles or whatever, but
it's like even then, that great. So
it wasn't. Yeah. But it's like again, because he's retreading the same thing in BVS. It's kind of like, dude, we saw this already. Now you're just adding more fluff to it, and it's like to the point where it's like now, it's just like all it's going to end up feeling like when you see the Snyder Cut. Now it just really seems like, okay, now it's going to be even more fluff on him, because apparently he's going to be Dark Superman for like a good portion of the film, at least allegedly, or whatever. And it's like, we already seen other stuff, Cyborg Dad like apparently dies.
Are y'all trying to tell me you don't want to see a Dark Superman for 5 minutes? You don't want to see a Dark Superman?
We've had Injustice already.
I want to see a Dark Superman. I want travel any way I can take him. We're just gonna put that out here on the podcast right now. Okay.
So we had.
Go ahead, Toku.
Go ahead. I was gonna say we've had Dark Superman already. We've had like 4. We've had Injustice. We've had Justice Lords. We've had the evil. We have the evil version for
live action movies.
Live action.
Movie.
I mean, I don't want to bring it up.
Yeah, I got nothing.
There was Superman 3 for a good minute, but I know a lot of people don't like
that.
Yeah. From back in the day. But because like that was the part like when he was fighting himself or whatever, like when they was in the junkyard and it was like one version of Superman fighting the other.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was Clark Kent versus Superman.
That was in Superman 3 back in the 80s. So they
which is
wild.
Because Request for Peace was my joint, and that's the only one I kind of acknowledged.
Which is wild because which is wild because the wildest thing about that is in Superman 3 is that's the first time the live action movies said that Clark Kent was the real personality and Superman was the mask. Because up until that point, they've been acting like Superman was the real personality, and so it took all the way until the third movie for them to go, oh no, he's really Clark Kent. Clark Kent is who he is. Superman's what he can do, and that was the first time they put that in the movies. And then every other movie they just ignored that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to steer the conversation back because we went off on a tangent. So we got to. You know what I'm saying? We were trying to talk about the DCEU as a whole, mixing up the acronym.
To be fair, look.
So we, I mean,
4 of us have ADHD.
True, which is why I'm trying to steer us back. I mean, because we were talking about, possible introduction, a possible tie-in. If we're going to see, we got Hawkman now added on officially into DCEU because Black Adam, I think, is going to be a part of the larger picture. Like I honestly don't.
To be.
I
Better be.
thing. So, it begs the question if we're going to get possibly a Justice League Unlimited type thing.
I'm still wondering if they still trying to go ahead with that Justice League Dark film that they claim that they was going to do.
There's so many movies that are just out there hanging. You know what I'm saying? Because of COVID, like so much stuff is
right, and that's one of them. And it was just like I was still wondering to myself, was like, dude, like how are y'all gonna have a Justice League Dark and y'all barely got a Justice League? Like y'all, it's like wait a minute, like y'all still got a lot. Y'all got to get a lot of more stuff, like jumping off. Because
sometimes you just gotta fly by the seat of your pants, Fallen Marvel.
Yeah, but you saw what happened when they did it before. We got Batman v Superman.
You just gotta fly, man. They peacocks. You gotta let them fly. You know what that line is from. Y'all know what it's from. Don't act like it's just me. Okay.
You know what?
With that, we're gonna have to stop the comic book, the movie talk. But again, going back to what Jensen brought up a good point about trying to go to drive-ins. If anybody who watches this podcast, if you've got a drive-in in your area, go visit that. You know what I'm saying? It's
show.
As we all talked about before, I mean, we're sure that the movie studios and stuff are trying to figure out how to get this money back. I mean, they're literally losing like billions of dollars because people aren't going to the movie theaters. You know what I'm saying? Movie theaters are closing and all that other kind of stuff. So they're trying to figure it out. So if you have an opportunity to go to a drive-in or maybe even going to a private movie theater where they don't have like a whole lot of people, and obviously practicing social distancing, it might be a good alternative until we can get back to normal life, whatever be post.
Whenever that may be.
Yeah. So, all right, good grief. I think we spent like 5 minutes on this thing. So
it's been like 40 minutes.
Oh my God. Like my timer is like a whole long time ago. So we are moving on to our last subject of the night, which is LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers have won the 19 and I lost Jensen, the guy who was supposed to talk about it. They won the NBA championship, but I lost Jensen. So I don't know if y'all want to talk about that. Yay! That was really Jensen. Now like the camera's just looking at us and
I'm sure he'll kick back in. He'll kick back.
Oh, there he goes. And look at you. You see, I need you to predict lotto numbers. There he goes. I was doing my whole intro. Now Kyle's gonna edit.
No, I was trying to turn off the chat notifications and then I had to leave by accident.
So now, Kyle, I'm about to do my intro again. So I know you know where to edit it out, know where to add it back in. There you go. So with our last subject tonight is LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers have won the 19. Oh my God, not the 19, the 29.
Edit that out too.
2020 NBA champions. They have won it all. Jensen, you want to go ahead and talk about this phenomenal win for LeBron James?
Yeah. First of all, that ties my team up with the Celtics for 17 championships all time. Just to put that out there. All right, people trying to discredit it because it was the bubble, and I'm like, how? Like why would you have to discredit it? I'm like, I don't see people discrediting when the Spurs won 99 the lockout season. You bring it up, people cuss you out or something. I mean, I'm a fan of him, but he's not my favorite player, but I respect the game and what he did. Another finals MVP, got another finals MVP. If the Heat would have been healthy from the start of the series might have went to 7. But I mean, he won, he earned it. But then of course it was just as much hate as it was congratulations when he won and everything passed over.
I've been reading that all them hate comments. It's
it was
okay. Like I have to admit, so I used to be a basketball fan, right? I haven't really watched so obviously I was a Bulls fan. Scottie Pippen got traded after they won what, number 6, I think 5, 6,
Mm-hmm.
and
6,
after
after
Jordan
6.
retired for real, right?
Mm-hmm.
Scottie got traded to the Trailblazers. After that, I kind of stopped watching because Scottie Pippen was my favorite player, and you know he was at the Trailblazers. So I became a Trailblazers fan, and it didn't really work. And then he left for real. And then, ironically, you're a Celtics fan. Then I went to the Celtics when Kevin Garnett joined the team. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
really like Kevin. And then I
love Kevin.
Right, I was on the Celtics, and then Paul Pierce's punk ass left, okay, and went to Miami like that traitorous bastard that he was. Okay, I feel hurt.
No, he went to Brooklyn. He went to Brooklyn.
No, didn't he go to Miami?
Mm-mm. Not Paul Pierce. You talking about Ray Allen?
No. Oh yes, Ray Allen. Thank you.
You talking about Ray Allen? It was
Ray
one
Allen.
of them.
I'm talking about Ray Allen.
One of them. Yes.
No, my bad. My bad. You're right. No, Ray Allen. I'm talking about that bastard. I'm sorry, Paul. I ain't talking about you. I'm talking about. And then so I stuck it out, and then ironically, I kind of didn't. After that trio kind of went their own separate.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody kind of chasing their own thing. I haven't really watched since then. Like I watch, but I'm not like dedicated since then. But
Gotcha.
I have been in tune and been paying attention to like all of the crazy, the incessant comparisons of LeBron to Jordan, to Kobe Bryant, to just some of the greatest basketball
Some of everybody.
Yeah, just everybody. And with him winning this championship, I mean, I saw like the bubble thing. I did see that, and it's like, okay, we in COVID.
Yeah.
Like, he isn't a champion. I mean, it's not like he cheated. Isn't a championship
Right.
a champion?
Exactly. And also, they had no positive COVID test either. So shout out to them.
Right.
That's been documented.
Right.
You know how people are
that we
sometimes.
know of. Right.
You know how people sometimes, but anyway, they had no public COVID cases.
Right.
So, and shout out to them. They was in Florida. You know, stuff always is crazy in Florida.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I've been seeing all this, the hate and this and that and therefore. But then, I mean, it was like, look, you hate him all you want to, but you gotta respect the game. You know what he does off court. Some people don't like him because he be too political. I'm like, wow.
I mean, look, I respect him.
Okay, but they got mad at NJ back in the day because Michael Jordan wasn't political.
Right.
Yeah, he's gotten flack for that like over the years or whatever.
Yeah, he has.
Even though people still go out and buy the shoes, but
right.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
Like, I guess I don't understand. Yeah, I understand
because
rivalry hate, but it's like super hate of LeBron. Like
when you coming close,
he left Cleveland the first time,
when you pushing this close to Jordan, who is the man in everybody's top 5 player, greatest player. When you getting doing stuff this close to his legacy like Kobe was, yeah, it's like a defense. It's like a defensive mechanism. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What? And he got a lot of hate for the decision. And then if y'all watch the documentary they did recently, they went more in depth behind the scenes of the decision. And David Stern didn't even want to do it. David Stern did not want to do the decision.
I have to watch that. I haven't seen it.
Yeah. A couple of the ex-ESPN execs or some current was like, yeah, they had to like really, really, really convince him, and then he finally agreed to do it. And then after they did it, some of LeBron people, was talking. They was like, yo, we was on the plane to Miami. We was like, what did we just do? Like they were like, it was just straight silence on the plane ride.
Mm-hmm. It was terrible. It was not the right move.
He said it did not go as planned.
Mm-hmm.
It even though they did have a good cause because the charity the Boys and Girls Club got like 4 or 5 million.
Yep.
But ain't nobody trying to hear that. That was nobody trying to hear. They like this man is, and then he just took on the bad guy role. It was, then he won, and then he went back to Cleveland.
Yeah.
And then with the whole Dan Gilbert thing, they wrote the letter, and then it was just a lot. A lot of people hate because they like, oh man, he got to get another elite superstar. I'm like, everybody that's ever won a ring has had almost an elite superstar for the past like 30, 40 years. And I got flack for this outside of Hakeem. He didn't play with like another elite player when he won back-to-backs. I mean, people, he had Robert Ory, Thorpe, Kenny Smith, and so forth. But I like how many of them was like, top-notch elite. Like Jordan had Pippen. The Celtics had like 4, 5, 6 Hall of Famers. Kobe and Shaq.
Miami Heat, Wade.
Well, you know what? I lied. Cause when Dirk beat the Miami Heat, he didn't really have no other elite player playing with him per se. So yeah, okay. Outside of Dirk and Hakeem, I mean, even Duncan had Ginobili, Parker, and at one point Shelton Robinson, who I wouldn't be included in that. Even when the Pistons won, they had 4 All-Stars starting at the same time. With Rip Hamilton, Ben Wallace, Rasheed, and all them. So I can't knock him. I'm not gonna knock him for it. He gets a lot of unnecessary hate.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I understand what you were saying before about when you start getting up, I guess, in Jordan's legacy, but he had to surpass other people. Like it's like, it's not like Jordan started the legacy. Like Jordan had to reach other people's legacy. It's like they want LeBron to, I guess, keep being mediocre, and LeBron's not mediocre. So I really don't understand like the super ridiculous amount of hate that LeBron gets. I really don't. I don't get it. Like he's a dope player, but I don't get it. Maybe a male testosterone.
It's a situation where because I've seen it with other people too. Like you see the same thing with the only other 2 people I could think of, and I think it's more so one than the other, is Beyonce and Eminem. Like you have both your haters, your super haters, and then you also got stans. LeBron has as much haters as he do stans, because like there's a lot of people who really ride LeBron like extra hard, like win or lose. And it's like even to the point where it's just like, and I say this jokingly because like the way headlines and the way they talk about him on ESPN or whatever, it's like, okay, whether a team wins or loses, it's like, okay, I'm wondering, did the team win or lose, or did LeBron win or lose? Because I can never get it. I can never get it right, because it's always like, okay, it's always a situation where like, okay, if they win a championship or if they win a game, LeBron did all the work. If they mess around and lose a game or lose a championship,
because they did
everybody else's fault.
Right.
It's like, it's one of those kinds of things. Now, I'm not saying that like it completely cancels out the haters, because it doesn't. Folks are just really weird with it. I mean, I'm very weird with it. Right. So it's like, it's just kind of like where I'm at with it. It's like me, I'm not that huge on. I'm not. I can't say that I'd say myself that like I'm a LeBron fan. Like I think like, it's like, look, I get he's a competitor. He's out there to do what he's supposed to do. He's out there to do his job. I get it. So it's just like, because one of the things I always like find myself like always wondering is like, okay, obviously ball players are out there to kind of, especially like if they're in a certain stature, and like they in positions to make business moves. So it's like, okay, it's like, that's where, and like it might go off a little bit, but like it makes me wonder, is like I never really understood like how like folks hated like Kevin Durant so much for doing the same thing LeBron did years prior. Because it's like folks, come up say like, oh, he had this person on this team and blah 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 and blah blah whatever. Well, it's like, okay, LeBron wasn't winning championships at Cleveland, so he went to Miami and got one, and then went back to Cleveland and got a couple, and then or whatever. So it's like okay, like I'm pretty sure there's other people that made business moves too. So it's like I don't understand like the same person that hate on KD but praise LeBron. But it's like, I mean, both of those guys are really good players, but it's just like folks got to ride for whoever they is their favorite person or whatever, and it's just this thing where people have to bash someone or something else in order to prop up whatever their favorite is. And it's just kind of like it just gets to a really weird area, like when it comes to that. And it's like look, I've seen some weird LeBron stands just as much as I've seen some weird LeBron haters. So it's
right.
They're out there though. Yeah. They are out there. It's like, hey,
I just want to say, what's his name? Danny Green did not need no death threats. What he was getting because he missed a shot. Right. And shout out to J.R. Smith with the Henny. Shout out to J.R. Smith with the Henny. I gotta go. My stuff is finna die. But shout out to J.R. Smith.
So we are coming to the end of our podcast, and I'll give you guys 5 minutes each to wrap up. So Toku Terry, what are your ending thoughts?
My ending thoughts, basketball is confusing, as all sports are. Okay. Basketball is confusing as all sports are. Jason's back. Glory be to the Tyrannosaurus. And movies are a headache, but I really hope we can get some Spectre in here. So until next time, it's Toku Terry. Stay strong, stay free, my friends.
All right. Follow Marvel.
Okay, so just love what you love without bashing other stuff. I mean, I can't say that I'm a LeBron fan, but it's just you want to throw out facts, but I mean, we can do without the vitriol. We already got enough of that. So other than that, movies, I only hope that the theater experience returns to normal in some fashion or another soon, because I've been really missing my tentpole movies for 2020. And this is literally my first year in probably a decade that I have not consistently gone to the movies to see what I wanted.
It's weird, ain't it?
So very weird.
It's weird.
It's so weird, and I'm fiending right now. I'm like Tyrone Biggums for a tentpole movie right now. So, but just some. Besides that, what else did we talk about today? Shout out to Chadwick Boseman and his family. Nothing but respect for the whole clan. Mm-hmm. And I need to catch up on my Power Rangers comics. Other than that, because I have every issue and I have yet to read any of them. So, other than that, guys, I know I will. That's about all for me. The only thing I can say now is just follow my advice to go nerd, but nerd responsibly out there and stay safe.
My final thoughts obviously kind of echoes the both of you. I have to admit it's weird because I too kind of miss going to the movies. I have to admit with all the Marvel movies, I did hit a bit of comic movie fatigue because I just felt like it was so much. It was so much. And so it was before COVID, the only comic movies I was really going to go see in a movie theater was Wonder Woman 84, Aquaman 2 whenever it came out, and Black Panther 2, which now we didn't even talk about that. We're talking about legacy, what is going to happen to the Black Panther franchise. I mean, obviously I know it's handed over to Shuri, but are they going to go ahead and do that in the movie?
Really quick, I don't think they will. I think they're going to try to find a respectable way to continue the story, because T'Challa still has a lot of story that was going to be told, and I know Chadwick was on board to be able to do it, but obviously
right
he can only keep that up because it's just a situation where it's going to hurt no matter what they do. So as much as it would be cool if they do that, it's still too early to kind of give Shuri the mantle like that yet. So
well,
that's why I feel about it.
That's the only reason I brought it up, because people are out there Shuri becomes Black Panther, in the comics. So, and it's
not that early though.
Do you want to do that? You know what I'm saying? Already, I don't know. know what I'm saying? But that, but that subject is still up in the air too. And it's weird now because I kind of stopped going to the movies just a little bit because I had stuff going on. But now I kind of want to go. It's like a little trick for myself. Take yourself to the movies, and I can't go. That kind of thing. Because I'm not catching COVID. Okay, we are not catching COVID, America. So
we're not doing that.
Yeah, exactly. So that there's kind of that. And I just said it, but I'm gonna say it again, and we say it every podcast. Stay healthy, stay safe. Believe the hype, if you will, about COVID, because COVID's real. Okay, so all you conspiracy theorists, shut the F up. Like, COVID is a real thing.
Better safe than sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, please just safe, and that kind of thing. So, so I want to thank, obviously,
Iron Lung don't love you.
Right. I want to thank my panel, Jensen from Jensen World, Toku Terry, The Fallen Marvel. I'm your host, Black Mamba, and we will see you next time.
Au revoir, everyone.